I want to have a conversation with the American people. I want to have a conversation because of this Travvon Martin and George Zimmerman issue that have been raging all over the country since the verdict nearly a week ago. As a foreign national who live in this country, I've spent a great deal of time watching this trial for weeks before the verdict and seeing the reaction of the generality of the Americans over this, the outcome of the case. Some of us shake our heads in wonder. We do understand how many people feel about the verdict, because for most people, a young 17-year-old man died because he was confronted by another man who, for all intent and purpose, nobody really know what his intention was. The day he carried a gun, drove his car out of his own house, and followed this young man where they had a confrontation. Regardless of what happened, it's a tragedy, and everybody is sad about it, that this young man lost his life, and the law have taken its course. The jury have spoken, and that is the law. But our fear, the fear for me and a lot of other people who have children in this country, is that this whole issue should not become an avenue to try to drag this country back to the past. We all know, no one here is denying that racism still to some extent exists in this country. But it is not as common. In my generation, during my generation and the generations past, the level of racism that took place then no longer exists today. It is not totally over, but one can confidently say that current generation really do not see themselves in black and white. I have children. My children have birthdays. I see the friends that comes to attend their birthdays. And when I watch the type of interaction between my children and their friends, most of whom are generally white, Hispanic, Asians, people from various parts of the world who live in this country, it is sometimes difficult for me to really understand how we, the older generations, can see race in everything that happened, and this current generation don't see it. You can easily see from the interaction between these children that they really are unaware of who is black or who is white or who is Hispanics in their midst. They enjoy each other's company, they play together, they do things together, they go to school together, they invite each other's home for slumber parties, they go out to the malls together, they swim together. For those of us who went to college here, who read about racism, who've met people who have expressed their own experience with racism, we don't see it in these children. So it is hard for us to actually bring these things into their mind, so that as this issue about Travvon Martin and Zimmerman have taken place, we must not try to impose upon this new generation of children the old age hatred from our past experience. We must try not to allow our own anger for things that happens in the past, for historical experience, to disturb this new generation's life with each other in this country. The current generation of Americans don't give a damn who is black. The current generation of Americans don't give a damn who is black or who is white. They don't see color in each other. That does not mean that some of these children aren't told by their parents about the racial differences between people in this country, but they truly enjoy commingling. And if you look at the election of President Obama into the office, it wasn't the black people who made him president. All the multiracial people that work on his campaign that helped him become president, the majority of these people are whites. You had a white secretary, a black secretary of state, a black attorney general, a black president, the president of the United States, the most powerful position in the entire human existence. That in this day and age, this man occupying this office is there as a reflection of the level of racism that exists in America. So when I listen to the president talking today, saying that people should not allow their historical experience or should not use their historical experience to enforce hatred in their children, I know what he's talking about because I've been saying the same thing to my children for weeks. There are many people of my generations who are angry. I'm not one of them. I've never been an angry person. I don't really have any experience in this country that is bad enough for me to be angry. But for those who are angry because of the past experience they've had, this avenue or the issue at hand now, Travvon and George Zimmerman, should not be an excuse to reinforce their hatred, their age-old bickering and anger onto their children, and then teach these children again to stop living the way they are doing now. They should allow this experience, this unique bonding that exists between the current day generation to flow. They should allow the current generation to be who they are. The president said today that talking to his children and their friends make him understand that these generations are better than we are. What he meant is that these children do not see color in people the way the old generation do. They are not interested. They want to go to school together. They want to get a job. They want to live together. They want to enjoy this great, beautiful country together. They are all citizens of the United States of America, black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, whoever you are. This country opened the doors to everybody. Whatever might have happened in the past is no longer what determines the life that the young Americans today live. So we must try not to allow what is happening now to drag these children into thinking and acting like the generation before them. If this current generation should live the way they live now, there's actually a lot of hope and that the next generation will actually be better than the current generation. It is not actually possible to eliminate disagreement among human beings, whether because of race, because of ethnic origin, because of tribal differences. Even in my own small little village where I come from in Africa, my mother's side and my father's side are just 1 mile apart. Same black people, same Africans, same Nigerians, and yet they discriminate against one another on occasion. This is part of human nature. You can never totally eliminate that. These are the challenges of life. It will always be there. But please, please do not use your old animosity and anger to drag the current generation into your old thinking. you will be doing a real serious disservice to this country. Leave the current generation alone. Let them be. Yes, we are all disappointed by the verdict, but that is the law. And whatever can be done by everybody involved in this discussion to find a means of understanding one another, to have the prosecutors present their case better next time, to choose a jury pool that have a good understanding of how people live outside their own neighborhood, so they could understand languages used by people like the witness, the black young girl who was a witness to the prosecutor in this case. These are things we should be working on now. It is not fanning the embers of hatred, trying to gather our young kids together and teach them how to walk slow and walk fast. It doesn't have anything to do with the way they live. It is just unfortunate that this issue happened the way it happened with Travvon Martin and George Zimmerman. Only God knows what happened on that day. But the young man is dead. Let us mourn him in peace and learn how to get along with one another and leave the new generations out of our old pain and anger. Thank you.